Hey everybody, time for another album review. I've gotten some requests to do 10. Let me get adjusted here. To do the album 10 by Pearl Jam, and I am going to do a Pearl Jam review, but I'm not doing 10. Um, my reason being, I'm not a huge fan of that album. I never was. I remember when it came out, Nevermind by Nirvana was out. I was really into that. I was really into Alice in Chains. I was really into Bad Motorfinger by Soundgarden. And then there was Pearl Jam coming out, and I just didn't see the big deal. I mean, there's songs I like. I like the album now more than I did then. But, I mean, Alive I didn't like very much. I really like that song now. Um, what's the other one? Even Flow. Didn't like it then, still don't like that song. Jeremy's pretty good. There's some other songs I'm not wild about. Porch. Everyone likes Porch. Why Go is alright. Garden's a good song. Release is a good song. But I was never a huge fan of their first album. I didn't really see the big deal. And then their second album came out, Versus, and I really liked it. I became a fan. To me, this album is much better than 10. And I'll get into that. But, yeah, so the year's 1993. 10 had come out in 1991, was a huge success. They toured for 2 years. Then they went back into the studio with the pressure of trying to record the follow-up to 10, which was hugely successful. And they were feeling a little bit of the pressure, and what resulted was a more raw and aggressive album. More personal as far as the lyrics go, and musically much more aggressive. I guess a lot of the songs on this album came out of just jams. They would just be jamming a lot of the music. And yeah, I really like this album. So it was released October 19th, 1993. I remember that year getting an import. My mom worked at Music Lovers Shop at the time. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that. Maybe if you're from Rochester, New York, you've heard of that. It's not there anymore. It was in Pittsford, near Pittsford Plaza. And she used to give me a lot of these things that were actually kind of hard to get. Like I got Sap, Alice in Chains from there. I got some Nirvana imports from there. And I got this Pearl Jam import for the song Go, which was the first song on the album. And I think Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town was on that too, and I really like these songs. So I was like, wow, Pearl Jam's getting better in my eyes. So I looked forward to the album. But the album had already been out, but I made more of an attempt to listen to this album after I heard those songs. Because I'll get into that too, there weren't music videos. So the album came out, and at this time, now it's pretty well known that Pearl Jam isn't really into all the commercial things that comes with success. And they had done 3 videos for the singles off of 10, and they decided not to do any more videos, starting with this album, and much to the dismay of their record company and MTV. Because MTV actually used to show music videos back then, believe it or not. And they actually were very important. Music videos at the time were very important in selling an album. And they said they don't want their songs to be remembered for the videos. And, this is when I really started to respect Pearl Jam. You gotta like that. It's one thing about a lot of these bands in the early 90s, the grunge bands. I always use quotes because they don't like being called that. But just their unwillingness to conform to the standard that every band before them had done. Like, you record an album, you tour, you make videos, you do whatever the record company says, and these bands weren't about that, and I really admired them for that. I still do. More bands should be like that now, because, man, they are not now. But, yeah, so it came out October 19th, 1993. Set the record for sales in its first week. A record that wasn't broken for another 5 years. I'm not sure who broke it, but 1998, I can't really think of anyone good in 1998. They had an album better than this one. Probably some pop star like Mariah Carey or something. It was number one in Billboard 200 for 5 weeks. And a lot of the songs on this album covered the band's personal, social, and political concerns at the time. And I'll get into that when I get into the songs, but there's a lot of it on this album. The album's originally called 5 Against 1, which is a lyric, part of a lyric from the song Animal. They figured 5 against 1, 5 people in the band, the music industry being the one, they're against the music industry. But they ended up changing that at the last minute. They actually changed it to being self-titled, just called Pearl Jam. And then they changed it again to Versus. So I guess there's some copies out there that actually say 5 against 1 on them. So I'm guessing those are probably worth some money. But yeah, this is their second album, follow-up to the hugely successful 10, put them on the map. And now, let's get into the songs. First song is called Go. I mentioned this before. This was on the import I received for Christmas that year, 1993, this year. And really got me interested in Pearl Jam, because their first album didn't really interest me very much. It was the first single off the album. And it's about Eddie Vedder's trouble with fame and his general desire to keep a low profile as far as celebrities go. He was uncomfortable with celebrity. As a lot of these people, we all know what happened to Kurt Cobain. But it's also rumored to be about his pickup truck and how it broke down on him. Why go on? Don't go on me. I guess it's about his truck. But the thing about a lot of Pearl Jam songs, are about more than one thing. So that's what that song is supposed to be about. I really like the lyrics in the song. Very good song. Number 2, Animal. Probably one of my favorite Pearl Jam songs of all time. I love the song. Helped by the fact that they played this on the Video Music Awards then, and it was fucking amazing. But it was the third single from the album. It's about anger. There's anger in the song that's directed at someone who is unnamed. The record company at the time, when they recorded the song, wanted Eddie to, well, not Eddie really, but they wanted the vocals to be turned up so people could understand what he was saying, what he was singing about. And he mentioned to them what he was singing about. I don't know if he named names or what. But after that, they decided they should just leave the vocals what they were, because they weren't wild about what the song was about. It's been rumored to be about gang rape, too, 5 against 1, but that's never been confirmed. But this is a great song. One of the best rock songs they've ever recorded. I love this song. I still listen to this song frequently. So, number 2, Animal. Great song. Daughter. Getting into some more grim stuff. Daughter, number 3. The second single off the album. So, the first 3 songs were all singles. It was the most successful single from the album. You still hear the song a lot on the radio today. Yeah, it's pretty grim. It's about how children with learning disabilities back in the day, before people understood or knew anything about these disabilities, how kids with the disabilities would be seen as not having a disability, but just acting out and misbehaving, and how these kids' parents would beat the shit out of them for it. And it would result in a lot of good creative people just being emotionally broken at a very young age. And it's just a really sad song. I mean, I didn't know that about the song until a few years ago. And man, I think about it every time I hear the song now. It's really sad. It's a really good song, though. It's one of the acoustic ones on this album, and it's just a great song. All right, number 4, Glorified G. This will make some people unhappy. It's an anti-gun song, and it mocks gun enthusiasts. Drummer Dave Abruzzi, I believe his name is. I don't know. It's Abbruzese. Well, he had bought 2 guns at the time and was telling his bandmates about it, and Eddie Vedder was like, "You bought a gun? Why would you buy a gun?" And he said, "In fact, I bought 2." That's what they use in the first line of the song. So, it's Eddie Vedder was outraged by it. He's very anti-gun, as you may know, which a lot of people don't like about him. But I'm cool with it. So, the guy bought 2 guns. It sparked a debate within the band, and the song was written. So, I know Dave Abruzzi left not long after this. I don't know if he actually performed the song live with them, knowing that it was kind of putting him down. But, I don't know. That's what the song's about. It's a good song. It's not one of my favorites on this album. It's okay. It says glorified version of a pellet gun in it, and it really sounds like it says pelican, and it makes me laugh. So, but it's an alright song. I skip over this one a lot, but not always. Number 5, Dissident. It's about a woman who takes in someone who is wanted by the law for political reasons. And she doesn't want to give this person up, but she does because she's weak. And she gives this person up, and she is guilt-ridden about it, and it really makes her life hell because she feels so bad about giving this person up, this dissident up. And I don't know, I think it's a pretty cool topic for a song. It's another one that's not one of my favorites on this album. I know Glorified G and Dissident are really popular Pearl Jam songs, but in the little capsule of this album, I don't think they're as good as the other songs. Although I do like Dissident more than Glorified G. So, now we're up to number 6, WMA. It's an acronym for White Male American. And this Eddie wrote about a time when he was busy, he hadn't showered in a while. He was dirty and grimy and grungy. I said it. And he was hanging out with someone who was a minority. He doesn't specify if it was a black person, Hispanic, or anything like that. But he was hanging out with this person, and this person was all cleaned up and dressed nice. And they were hanging out, and for some reason they were noticed by the police. And the police came up to them and was harassing the other guy who looked way cleaner and better than Eddie did. And they left Eddie alone. They didn't know who Eddie was, celebrity-wise. So, and Eddie was outraged about this and hassled the cops about this. And ended up going in the studio and still pissed off and writing the lyrics for the song. And it's a really good song. I like what it's about. Police brutality is obviously still a problem. I say no, not all cops are the same, but it's still a problem with some cops, and it's a good song. It feels very relevant, really relevant still today. Good song. Number 7, Blood. I love this song. Because of Eddie Vedder's vocals, he's screaming his ass off in the song. And it sounds really cool. I love his voice in the song. And I guess what people would say is it's about the music industry, his dissatisfaction with the music industry and the media in general, including magazines like Rolling Stone and Circus and Spin. So he's saying something like the blood. He's saying blood. Like, it's like soaks the pages. If the blood is him, the blood is his music, and it's making them rich, and he feels taken advantage of by the media. They intrude on his life. They write about him. They criticize him, and they make money off him. So that's what the song is about, and I really like it. I'm not a big fan of the music industry myself, and you gotta respect a guy for putting his feelings out like that. Great song, one of the highlights on this album, of many highlights. Rearview Mirror, number 8, and it's a song that gets played on the radio, like a good amount, not as much as some of these other songs, but a pretty good amount. It was never a single, but it's about leaving a difficult situation, like abusive relationship, anything detrimental to your well-being, just leaving that situation and leaving it in their rearview mirror. It's got a good beat to the song, kind of sounds like a driving song, and another really good song for this album. Number 9, Rats. It's about rats and how they're seen as these disgusting, filthy creatures. And he sings about them, but he doesn't sing about what they do. He sings about what they don't do. Things that they don't do that humans do, if that makes any sense. And how, because of this, humans were much smarter than animals like rats. Well, maybe not smarter. We have bigger brains and we can reason more and stuff like that, but we do really horrible things. And it's about how really these things make it so some humans aren't much better than rats. And it's a weird song. I like the song. It's weird. I'm a fan of weird music, and this is one of their weirder ones on this album, at least. It's a really good song. You should check it out. Number 10, Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town. It's a long title, and it was purposely a long title because of, at the time, most of their songs had one-word titles, so they wanted to write a song with a long title. Really good song, not a single, but still played on the radio quite a bit, and even today, it's played a lot. Another acoustic song like Daughter. It's about an old woman who's stuck in a small town, like it says on she feels stuck, and it's about small towns in general, how people in small towns either are struggling to get out of the small town, they decide to stay because they feel too overwhelmed by what's outside the small town, or they just struggle to get out. They get stuck. They get stuck in the town. And this is what happens to this lady in the song. And in the song, an old flame of hers comes in who she doesn't recognize at first. And then she starts to realize who he is, and he's very successful, and she's, working behind a counter in this small town. And she feels embarrassed, and she's too embarrassed to say hello to this person. That's basically what it's about. It's very, it's very thought-provoking. Vedder has this thing about small towns. He's fascinated with them. And so he wrote about it. And it's a really, really good song. I still love this song a lot. Okay, number 11, Leash. It's about a girl Eddie Vedder knew who had a very oppressive family, a very strict family. And she was caught smoking marijuana, of all things. And she was institutionalized by them for this. And this song kind of goes with the song Why Go from 10. This song is about leading up to going into the institution, and the song Why Go is about when she got out of the institution. So those songs kind of go together, and the lyric, drop the leash, get out of my fucking face. He's basically saying that some parents just need to drop the leash on their kids and let their kids do what they do, and let's hope everything works out okay. Alright, number 12, Indifference. I don't know what the song is about, but to me it seems about someone who's very emotionally broken, has a lot of emotional pain, and has just decided that nothing makes a difference anymore, and why bother trying? And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And there's a lyric says, I wrote it down, I'll swallow poison until I grow immune. I will scream my lungs out until it fills this room. How much difference does it make? Basically saying, you know, none of this makes any difference at all. Why do I bother? That's what I gather from the song. If you disagree with me, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think. So, yeah, that's all the songs, 12 songs. The follow-up to 10, I think, is much better than 10. Along with the next album, Vitalogy, I also think that's better than 10. Not as good as Versus, but I think that one's better than 10 as well. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. Just because there's a couple songs like Dissident and Glorified G I'm not a huge fan of. They're alright. They're pretty decent, but I'm not a huge fan of these songs, but I really like the direction Pearl Jam took in this album. They could have just made 10-2, but they went in a whole different direction, and I think it really paid off for them. Earned my respect, not that they were looking for it, but earned my respect, and this my favorite Pearl Jam album is this album. So, if you only heard the songs on the radio by Pearl Jam, you might have heard Daughter off this, or Elderly Woman, but if that's all you know from this album, you should give it a chance. Check it out. There's a picture of some sort of goat on the front of the album, which was another reference to, you know, like sheep being, they felt like sheep to the record company. So they were going through a lot of things, identity crisis as far as their celebrity goes. So it's a really interesting album, very interesting lyrically, very aggressive musically. So give this album a shot. Pearl Jam Versus.